Hello, Terracon 4 here. Got that right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Terracon 4 here. Gonna talk about something which I haven't for ages now. Witch Hunt, that old game project I was working on myself. Idea being, you are a witch and fighting semi-modern, semi-futuristic military equipment. So it pretty much died out due to a result of other jobs and also a particular bug. But I've now begun working on it again since I've had some free time along with various updates to various marketplace projects, as many people will have noticed. So several of you, will have noticed the airship, the VR update for the airship, the axe, animations, retexturing, yada yada, various things. By the way, so I've also spent time on this. Right off the bat, you'll notice the character actually has some textures and stuff now, which is better than where it had been left off. The UI, you'll notice that there are dialogue and things. I've been working on it so that I can have dialogue and story missions, so you can actually have a story. There's events and stuff that can be triggered based on when you destroy things, various timers, all that stuff. User interface, you'll notice, lower right corner, I have a variety of different spells and stuff. So like here I can take this one and swap that out to a different thing. While doing this, the gameplay time is slowed, it's not completely stopped. But yeah, so various things like this will be good for game controllers with D-pads, and most people who use the 1 through 4 on their keyboard and don't have 20 buttons on the side of their mouse like I do. So hopefully this will help. Overall, art has had some changes. And here, one thing I've added has been this. So enemy sense, I had a rudimentary version of it in a while back, but now, at distances you get these big old glowing dots just to see stuff. But now, as you get closer, the dots disappear and you get outlines and stuff on the enemies. And the outlines, they get darker as the enemy's health decreases. Enemies are just highlighted red in general. So like there, first group of enemies, you destroy them, and that's a story trigger. So that spawns airships there, and based on a timer there'll be another one spawning up there. Well, Airship Transport. One of the new units, which I've tried making, was I didn't like having enemy units just teleport and pop up in the middle of the battlefield. That just felt kind of wrong, but at the same time having them drive in is slow and limiting, so I started working on the idea of air transports. In this case, they can load and unload race units. So there's one, it blows up, and there goes all of its stuff as well. There's another. This one will be landing successfully and not being destroyed as it takes off. Destroy the last transport. And over to the despawn area. So you'll probably have noticed a few different things here, not the least of which being the shield effect around the witch. Actually, here, let's do this. Yeah, user interface and stuff. So there actually is pausing the game, things like keybinds, so that you can get that all set up. The main options menu is still heavily lacking, but I do plan to eventually add actual stuff there. Go to menu, so there's different, let's see, go to the main little menu area. So yeah, among other things, I've been messing around with the idea of actually loading to different levels. So that was mission 1. Mission 5A is a test one. That was a different load screen variant using a placeholder. Some of you may recognize that art. It is not mine. Some art, though. So here we can see updates to the art, textures and materials. They look a bit better in my opinion, but still maintain a similar style. Yeah, you can see the shield effect going on as the bullets hit the witch. And also it scales relative to the size and damage of stuff. So being hit by big missiles or railgun shots or things will have a bigger effect. It's directional based on where it comes from. And scales based on by size based on the power of the hit. So that's a effect which was fun to add. Still a little expensive. I need to optimize it a little bit, but well, I like it as it is. It's definitely something I'm going to be keeping around. Right, another thing, parry. For dealing with big tough targets like these that snipe you from long distance. Parry. Pretty much it's an active shield. If you just take hit in general, then it just means that you will, let's see, reset my health for debug commands. So yeah, in general these just mean that you will, say, take 20% damage to your health of a hit. In exchange, 20% of that damage will also be consumed as mana. So like there you see, I lose some of both to both. However, let me see those again. Next time, this one attacks. Come on, shoot your big cannon at me. Okay, well I missed it. By the way, there's the very beginning part. If you get it right at the beginning, then it will actually recover mana in exchange for still taking a fraction of damage. So that'll be helping you deal with big enemies like these. Though, yeah, you need to be... The railgun is, at the end of the day, the railgun is just supposed to be a try to avoid it as much as possible or be overly cautious. They don't tend to be the fastest rotating. Also, this is, yeah, heavy artillery walker. So the first attempt at a skeletal animation... A skeletal enemy, which actually walks on the ground, early attempts at IK. Definitely could use some improvement, but it works for now. I plan to, yeah, refine it a bit. It's got the 4 little flak turrets on it, and the one big old railgun turret. IK does not currently work properly with the death animation. And over there is just a random tank sniping at me, which I might as well take a look at. Since tanks also got updates to their art. Similar, but a little bit different as well. Slightly better looking in my opinion, though does lose a little bit of the old style. It's a big tank. Well, so yeah. Overall, that's more or less the product is now. Don't think I'll be having like weekly update videos again, but I will hopefully each month have like a general update with some progress as long as I have free time. The main things are it's no longer just me fighting a few random enemies in a one-off level. I've got now the basic backend stuff for actual missions with the more or less story and events that can unfold based on the character's actions or timers or things. There's some general user interface stuff for the actual player's user interface, the changing of spells, got that stuff set up better. So a lot of it is just being more refined towards what you'd want for an actual game. Now a lot of it is more of the refinement with all the little audio, finer tidbits in the user interface, all those little actions and things. A lot of enemy attacks still need their audio, refined particle effects and things. And then the big thing is just making the missions. Currently, the first one that you saw was more or less the first mission, which doesn't really have many enemies, pretty simple. But the... yeah, I currently am trying to write out the actual story and dialogue for those couple missions, and probably going to try and make 1 through 6, then use those as a testing ground, and see how all the systems work, see how all the balance and feeling of different stuff is. And if everything goes well, then yeah, I'll hopefully have a decently playable, like, demo version of the idea of my game out by the end of the year. But yeah, we all know, anyone who kept track of this 2 years ago knows how my optimistic approaches can easily be shattered by reality, so I can be hopeful, but I'll also be realistic that this might just get stopped again if I get, like, busy doing other work and main contracts or something else happens. But I am hopeful that I can get this project back up and running. So yep, if anybody's got any questions about anything, how I did anything in it or stuff like that, then feel free to ask in the comments. A lot of the things are using my own marketplace products. That was one of the fun parts, going back and updating all of these, because this was way back, like, this was where I first started making my health and damage system, but the one back here was only loosely relatable to the current actual one on the marketplace. So it wasn't just like an update and replace, it was completely manually dig out the old one and then give all the units the new health system. That part was much faster, since the current version iteration is very easy to plug and play onto anything nice and quickly, better so than the old version. But yeah, interesting to see how much my the quality of my various items have changed over all this time. So yeah, if you've got any questions about stuff, feel free to ask those in the comments below. And if you're interested in seeing how this project turns out, then hopefully I'll be posting something about it every month or so. So yeah. Units. Yeah, showed sort of the updated art to a few of them. There are these scout helicopter, the UAV, UCAV, mobile fortress. Yeah, here it is. So here's one of the new units. It is a drone transport. It's got, what's that, 7 sets of contra-rotating rotor assemblies. Can carry a couple of little combat drones, or like not quite the level of a main battle tank, though in game I might just push it to say yes, it can carry one conventional main battle tank. We'll see whether or not I actually end up doing that in any missions. My initial plans didn't have me doing it, but otherwise, yeah. This is one of the new units which I made. Then the medium ground drones. Another new unit. There's the cannon version, machine gun version, and rocket pod version. And then various updates to things like, yeah, just updating the art so that some of the old ones have a bit of a newer look to them. So, while still trying to keep that old style. And then the big, literally and figuratively, new one being the heavy artillery walker, which is a slightly different, it's like slightly more realistic and dark toned than the other units. I kind of wanted that to make it seem a bit more serious as a big boss, but I might still lighten it up a little in the end. We'll see how that goes over time. This one has been fun trying to actually make work in the game, but most of the core stuff is currently working, so yay. And yep, AI, various other things, lots of backend stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all it to talk about. Already mentioned leave comments, all that stuff. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. Bye, have a good one, stay healthy.